Hello, this is Ankit Reddy. Welcome to the .NET course from educators.com, world's best online training tutorial for the reading technologies. Before watching this session, please watch the session on SQL joins. Now let us move to this stored procedure in SQL. We have seen in the last session joins and its types and cross join, inner join, outer join. Outer join is again divided into left join, right join, full outer join. And these are the purposes for these joins: cross join, inner join, left join, right out join, full outer join. Now let us see this stored procedure. What is a stored procedure called? A stored procedure is set of logically group of SQL statements which are grouped to perform a specific task. Remember that, which are to perform a specific task. Main benefit is performance increase. Let us see benefits later, but let us see first syntax of creating a procedure. Create procedure, procedure name, and then add the parameters for the stored procedures here. As is a keyword begin and end. Within this begin and end, we'll be having set of TSQL statements for procedure. T stands for here transact SQL. Now let us see some examples with this stored procedure. Let us flip to SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. Clicking on new query, and again we can create by using GUI help also. Right click on this programmability, select this, you can click new stored procedures. You'll be getting like this, and you can change this part and this part. So let us see writing stored procedure manually. Create procedure, you can give procedure full name or PROC. This is also same, or this is also same. Create procedure name. While you are giving a procedure name, please follow the naming conventions that USP, which stands for user stored procedure. If you expand the stored procedure folder, you will be seeing system stored procedure. These are there. So when you create again a stored procedure with SP, then it will be, while executing, it will be checking from one by one where it is matching with your stored procedure name. So that if you give something different name, the execution time it will be taking very less. ESP stored procedure name, whatever it is. So before that, first of all, let me create a table. Create table TPL students. Then here student ID as integer. You can give caps if you want. F name, the varchar, then L name, the varchar again, then location, varchar of 30. That's it. Let me execute this. Now let me insert some values to the same table. Insert into TPL students values. Supplying student ID is 1. F name as Stuart. Broad. Location is UK. Select it, execute it. One row got selected, inserted. Now let me insert some few values. 2 John Dere USA. Make sure that there is no syntax error. Execute it. Now let me insert some 2 more values. 4 third. Key. Russia. 4. Then let me add some John Miller. This one China. So let me execute these two at a time. Now let us see that whether these values are really inserted or not. Select star from TBL students. This is what we have. Now a stored procedure is a set of logical group of SQL statements which are grouped to perform a specific task. The main benefit is performance increase. Once we have understand this stored procedure and its types, then we'll look at it benefits of this stored procedure. Now let us see that stored procedure types. Actually there are no stored procedure specific types, but we can learn about that by dividing according to our comfort. So let me create a stored procedure now. Create procedure ESP get all students. As begin end, inside which let me keep this a stored procedure. That's it. Let me command completed successfully. How to execute this stored procedure? Just take this and then put here. Either you can do like this, execute or exec. Both will be giving same result. Let me execute this. We have got result as same as we do write this kind of query. It will be fetching the same way if you use exec or execute. Both are same. So this procedure we call it as a plain stored procedures. Now a procedure can be have input parameter and output parameters. So let us see with input parameter first, then we'll see about having output parameter also. Let me take this stored procedure syntax. Here what I am taking is get student name and here let me pass some parameter student name integer. See, inside these variables you need to give @ symbol when you are declaring stored procedure parameters. @ symbol is a syntax you need to give, then you can give whatever name you want, then integer it is. Whenever you don't mention anything here as input, that is called as an input parameter. You need to specifically mention for output parameters out. So if you don't mention, that is by default input parameter. Now let me change this query. Select what we have, first name, last name, F name, then I'm concatenating this as L name from TBL students, where student ID is equals to the one which we are passing. That's it. This is the stored procedure. Let me execute it. Let me create this command executed successfully. Now how to execute this? Like how we have created or executed stored procedure. Let us see that what will happen if I execute like this. See, procedure function expects a parameter stname which was not supplied. So when you have an input parameter like this, you should pass a parameter, input parameter. One means we want a student name by ID 1. We have an ID 1, the student name is this one, Stuart Broad. So you can see like this. And we have seeing this here, no column name. In SQL, we have a concept called alias name. So suppose, let me take this one only. I will explain this alias concept. If I have like this, what's happening? So L name and F name and L name as we call it as a name. In order to put a alias name, we need to use as keyword. Then you can have this name. Now you see, instead of no column name, we'll be seeing a column name as name. Understand? So we can have this as name inside which the stored procedure as well. Suppose if I change something after creating a stored procedure, what will happen? See, we'll get an error, then we'll rectify that error. First, let us see the error, what it will come. Just remember that whenever we are getting errors, we learn more. But remember that we should not get the same type of error again and again. See, there is already an object named ESP get student name. This means we have already created one stored procedure. Again we are trying to create. So it is not possible. So how do we change that? By having some only additional we have had. So in order to modify that, we need to use a keyword called modify. Then what's happening? Alter keyword is there. Sorry, it's not modify. Now command got completed successfully. Suppose now if I execute this one, instead of 1 I am passing 3. If I pass 3, ID value 3, then I should see this name. Name is Ketaki Ponsky. Understand? This is how we will be executing stored procedure having input parameters. So we have seen a plain stored procedure. Now we have seen a stored procedure with input parameter. Now the third one is, let us see the procedure with input and output parameter. Let me take this procedure again. Let us create a stored procedure. So I am taking create keyword and get student names. Let me take, then here I am taking an output parameter as well, st. So if I pass st id and I want st name, again st name is a varchar type. Here we should mention as a out keyword. So what this stored procedure will do is, if you provide a student id, I will be giving you student name. That's what it is telling. As begin select. So instead of like this, let me put in a separate as st name, right? Select st name is equals to like this from TBL students. Again, where student id is equals to this one, st id I want. Let me execute this. Now, executing a stored procedure which contains output parameter is entirely different. Let us see that. How do we do that? First, we need to declare what we are going to see. Student name as varchar. Then we need to execute the one which we have created, stored procedure recently. Then we wanted to pass input parameter 1. Then we wanted to tell that output parameter is what? This is the output parameter. Then we need to mention again output. Finally, we can see that select result. Now you can execute like this. So if I pass 1, I am seeing as Stuart Borat. Now if I pass 4, John Miller. Again, if you wanted to keep as alias name as name, let us see this whether it will work or not. I'm altering this stored procedure name. No, we cannot set it as here. Let us see here. Not here. See here, we are seeing here name. While we are showing, we are taking it as a name. Otherwise, you can take it as a full name. And if you wanted to give a space here, you cannot set like this. You'll be getting error. So we just surround it with square brackets. It will be showing you as a full name. Understand? Like this, we can work with stored procedures. Either no parameters is plain stored procedure, and with input parameter, this one, and with both input parameter and output parameter. With we are having output parameter, the execution will be little different compared to the other parameters. I mean other stored procedure execution. And now we can use these stored procedures to insert, delete or update a SQL statement. So let me use this one more stored procedure. Let me take this create else. Let me take this. I'm creating a stored procedure. Create stored procedure. Insert student details. Now what and all you want? ID, then F name as varchar, then L name again varchar. You don't need to be give same names as in our table. You can give any other names, but don't forget to give @ symbol. Then last one is location. Varchar of party. So these are the input parameters. Then begin. I'm going to use insert into actual table name. What is the table name? TBL students. Then values. Can pass. Instead of st name, let me take stid. It will be good. stid @ f name @ l name @ location. That's it. Now let me create this stored procedure. Command got executed successfully. Now take this, execute. Now you need to pass values like how you pass here. This time I'm taking 5 Ankit D. Yeah, let us see by executing it. One row got affected. Now if you see this by selecting, you can see this Ankit Reddy India. So we have seen a stored procedure. A stored procedure is a set of SQL statements logically grouping of procedures are grouped to perform a specific task. Now let us see the benefits part of this SQL. Stored procedure advantages are execution plan retention, means that stored procedures are compiled and their execution plan is cached and used again when the same stored procedure is executed again and again. So whenever it is executed, the compiled thing will be there. Execution plan is cached. By that, whenever you call the same procedure, it will be used from the cache. Then what is the reduces network traffic? You only need to send execute SP name statement over the network instead of entire batch of SQL queries. Suppose, see here you can insert, you can pass only stored procedure name like this. It will be getting the data instead of asking entire ad hoc SQL queries. Select star from table name where ID is equal to 3. See, it is very simple. If you execute like this, it will come. You don't need to use this execute keyword also. You just have this. This way, we reduce our network traffic and code reusability and better maintain. What is this next one? Code reusability and better maintainability. A stored procedure can be reused with multiple applications. If the logic has to change, we only have to change in one place. Wherein, if it is inline SQL, if we have to use it in multiple applications, we end up with multiple copies of this inline SQL. We are using SQL queries, you need to be right everywhere. So this way we cannot have code reusability. Then what is better security? A database user can be granted access to stored procedure and prevent them from executing any other queries. So for a user, I will be telling that he can execute only select query. We will be giving permissions for selecting queries only. We don't give permission to the particular user any other queries like insert, update, delete. By this, we will be providing better security. So what we have seen, stored procedure syntax as follows: create procedure and procedure name, parameters as begin and end, and we have seen stored procedure advantages. Thank you for watching.